Hello there, welcome to Global Business. I'm Chioma Onyeabor. It's another Tuesday and I'm here to bring you updates on business activities in Nigeria, Africa and around the world. On our lineup today, we have Global Business Roundup and of course our business feature segment. It's about an Indian man called the Gold Man. Imagine a man all wrapped up in a $250,000 gold shirt. Well, you don't want to miss that. Also on the program is Street Business, talking about wheelbarrow business. And not forgetting the Talking Point segment. Our guest today is Sonny Ekozin to discuss the challenges in the solid mineral sector with my co-anchor Imewere Oyumahai. But all this and more after the break. Welcome back to the program. Now, what's been happening in the business world? Global Business Roundup is next with the updates. Let's see.
Spain's economy shrank for the seventh consecutive quarter between January and March as domestic demand slumped. The country's gross domestic product fell by 0.5% compared with the previous quarter, according to the National Statistics Institute. On an annual basis, Spain's economy shrank 2% in the quarter, the worst fall since the end of 2011. Last week, Spain's government cut its forecast for 2013, saying it now expected the economy to shrink by 1.3%. Its previous estimate had put the rate of contraction at 0.5%. Spain has struggled since the onset of the financial crisis in 2008, when its property bubble burst. As a result, banks were left holding hundreds of billions of euros in bad debts, eventually needing government bailouts to survive. Its latest jobless figures published last week revealed that the unemployment rate toppled 27% in the first quarter of the year, with the rate of unemployment among people under 25 years old reaching 57.2%. The economy contracted by 1.37% last year, the second worst annual decline since 1970. China has overtaken the US as the world's biggest market for personal computers, according to a market data report. Research by the consultant IHS said PC shipments to the country rose to 69 million units in 2012. The US was the largest market up until 2011. Last year, it had orders for 66 million units. China is also the world's biggest internet market with more than 500 million users. Laptops are the fastest rising sector in developed markets and have overtaken PCs. But in China, the sales of desktops and laptops is evenly split. Demand for PCs in China is projected just 3 to 4% this year as China comes into line with others in preferring small devices. The government is investing heavily in computer infrastructure and plans to spend around 14 trillion yuan building rural infrastructure in the next 10 years. Deutsche Bank shares rose almost 7% in early trading as its decision to issue shares to boost its capital reserves and strong first quarter results cheered investors. Germany's largest bank issued 2.9 billion euros worth of stock in a bid to reassure investors over the strength of its balance sheet. The new shares are part of Dutch's plan to raise 4.9 billion in euros in total. Its pre-tax rose 28% to 2.4 billion euros from 1.9 billion euros a year ago. The bank said it would also sell 2 billion euros of debt. Germany's biggest bank, based on market capitalization, has been under pressure from regulators to increase its capital reserves in order to give a bigger buffer against potential crises such as the 2008 global financial crisis.
That was Global Business Roundup compiled by Ehizu Jemomo. Moving on now to Business Feature, where an Indian man chases fame with gold shirt worth $150,000. The man took his dual obsession for gold and fame to an extreme level by getting one of the world's most expensive shirts, weighing more than 3 kilograms. Amazing. Just see for yourself. An Indian man has got one of the most expensive shirts in the world, made of gold, at a staggering $250,000 to fulfill his twin obsession of gold and fame. The 32-year-old moneylender Betha Puj from the western Indian city of Pune ordered the golden shirt, which took a team of 15 goldsmiths working 16 hours per day. 2 weeks to create after some very intricate weaving and knitting of the gold threads. The shirt has been designed by a jeweler, Tej Ranka, who said that Puj has been his regular customer for the past many years, buying gold chains and coins. Puj said that he always wanted to do something which will make him famous across the country and get his name into record books.
मेरा नाम होना चाहिए, तो उन्होंने मेरे को एक आइडिया दिया. उनका एक कारीगर है शिरीष, और तेजपाल सर ने जो मालिक है इनके, उन्होंने बोला दादा अपन सोने की शेड जो किया तो क्या बनेगा, क्या हो जाएगा. तो मैं बोला अगर सोने का शेड बनके मेरा पूरा भारत में नाम होता रहेगा तो मैं जरूर बनाऊंगा.
The shirt comes complete with its own matching cuffs and a set of ring also crafted from gold. The designer of the shirt said that shifting through historical paintings and books, they checked various armors worn by kings and warriors to zero down on the final design for their masterpiece.
We got the concept of the shirt from the armors of kings which they used to use in the time when they used to go to fight. And we got this concept. We found out some old dyes which were available with us in our old manufacturing units, and using those same dyes we created this piece of shirt for Mr. Fuge.
The gold shirt has been assembled on a fabric based of imported white velvet and comes with 6 Swarovski crystal buttons from an intricate belt, all made of gold. Puj said that the gold shirt has been one of his dreams and it will be an embellishment to his reputation as a gold man. Indians are known for their love of gold, and country is the biggest importer of gold in the world. Jewelry made of yellow metal is an essential part of the dowry Indian parents give to their daughters at weddings. A gold man. Now, ladies are known for being crazy about gold, but as you have seen, that's a man. Do I say a woman can, what a man can do, that's what a woman can do, a man can do better? Well, that's a lot of money just for a shirt, or rather fame. Away from the gold man now to our street business for today, there are several means of eking out a living, and one of those for some people is wheelbarrow transport. Funke Ogunlolu will tell us what it takes to start a wheelbarrow business and how much they earn per day.
A load. It was a technological advancement that allowed one person to move heavy load on his own. The first recorded mention of wheelbarrow was a military secret in China. The wheel cart was used to move supplies and wounded soldiers during the battle. The Chinese wooden box was used in battle in the 1st century BC, which cuts down on the need for pack animals. The human-propelled cart surfaced in Europe history around 1220 AD. Chartres Cathedral in France has a stained glass window that shows a wheelbarrow as part of a series of everyday life depictions in medieval Europe. In the United States were the settlers who even attempted to push their belongings cross-country in a wheelbarrow on the way to the Californian gold rush. A man named Johnny Baker did become wealthy in California, not by finding gold, but by making and selling wheelbarrows. In Nigeria, aside selling of wheelbarrows, the unemployed young and old persons have now resulted to using available wheelbarrows to help market shoppers to carry their goods from one designation to another for a certain amount of money.
Ana samu daidai dubun nan biyu dubun nan daya da 500 haka da daidai ya gwargwado ana samu. Shekara 5 eh. Ana samun 500-600.
With a sustainable amount these wheelbarrow pushers earn, it is a vital gross poverty that may have befallen them.
Yanzu wannan wanda na samu kuɗin noma za a je a yi da shi. Idan aka yi noma da shi kuma abin da muka ɗan yi ribe za a ɗan barwa iyali su rinka ɗan ci mu kuma mu ɗan fito nema haka. Ina samu ina tafiya da shi gida. Ina kai wa yara na. A shekara nawa ko nawa? Ina da guda ko dai 5.
It is no doubt that pushing over 70 kg weight of goods with wheelbarrows for consumers comes with ease.
Akwai muna wahala kaɗan kaɗan. In aka sa kaya mai nauyi ko kuma in ba samu ba dole wahala ya zo. Gaskiya yana in dai baka saba ba gaskiya akwai ciwon jiki.
These shoppers patronizing wheelbarrow transporters agree that a day without the services of these pushers at the market means a stressful day for them.
Like as I finish now, I cannot carry everything now. I'll have to put it for a barrow. So we can't do without them.
Wheelbarrow transport is probably the most handy means of moving goods around the market or shopping centers, but stealing of these goods is also possible.
Of course, wheelbarrow have run away with some people's goods, but sometimes I normally call the one that I know that, that I have people who knows him. Like me, it have happened to me. I give a wheelbarrow person money to buy me sniper because I have customers in my shop. So I gave him 2,500. He ran away with the money till today. I have not seen him. Both the sniper I give to him, both the money went away with it. So sometimes they are good, sometimes they are worse.
I used to use wheelbarrow to pack my luggage down to the garage. I've been into this market, I've been into shopping over 10 months now in this market. I haven't got such experience, so I can't tell.
I can see now that you can't wait to start up this mouth-watering business. Well, study these hints and then you can pick it up from there. Starting up wheelbarrows transport business, you will need to buy a good quality wheelbarrow at the rate of about 10,000 naira. If you don't have enough cash to set up the business, why not purchase one wheelbarrow for a start? And as the business yields profit, more wheelbarrows can then be purchased. And if you have enough capital to purchase more than one wheelbarrow, then you do that and place it up for rentals to reliable, good pushers.
You've heard it from them. They say they can't do without wheelbarrow pushers, helping them to carry their excess luggage. Well, on that note, we've done the cutting for today on your favorite segment on Global Business. I am Onyeabor-Okolie. See you next time.
Thank you, Funke. Well, it's been discovered that there are over 10,000 wheelbarrow pushers in the north. This has gone a long way in reducing the rate of unemployment, especially for the Almajiri. Now, how can these people be encouraged? Whether we accept it or not, unemployment is a major issue in Nigeria and around the world. And these categories of people should be encouraged one way or another. We'll take a short break now. We'll be back with other segments. But remember, you can send your comments, questions, suggestions to globalbusiness@aitnews.com or Global Business on Facebook/Global Business on AIT. You can also follow me on my Twitter handle at Chionye or at Ime Ohio. We'll be back after the break. Now, last week we had a special report on the challenges and opportunities in the mineral sector. We'll have a replay of that report before our talking point segment, which is also focused on development of the solid mineral sector. We have the report.
Diversify the economy has been the clarion call of the last decade, and the President Goodluck Jonathan administration has decided to move from mere talk to action. The solid mineral sector is being made more attractive for investors, and this is producing results. Polish Trade Minister Ilona Anastolis-Kliks speaks of her country's interest in Nigeria's mineral sector.
We know how to get the coal out of the earth, and we know how to produce energy because we have the whole line. Our economy is based on coal energy. So this is a quality I believe you would also look at. And we are great producers of copper. So we have copper mines in Poland. We have copper mines also acquired abroad, and we have the know-how and also the technology and machinery to get the resource. So we have some strength.
One of the major defects of this sector before now has been the lack of coordination. That issue may have been solved with the launch of a roadmap for the sector, which gets a World Bank endorsement.
In the beginning of the project in 2005, there was basically no mineral industry. There was no formal industry, there was pretty much nothing. In the end of the project, the mineral sector was producing revenues. There were about 50 international companies exploring for minerals here.
We have also started to produce maps. The reason is because any investor would like to see this. This is what is going to provide a guide for the investor and for you as a country. You know, the whole question of development, like roads, rails, and all the rest, can take care of themselves if you are able to make investment bankable in the country.
We are in a position where the macroeconomic environment is strong, the returns are quite high compared to any emerging market, and of course you can see the growth.
One challenge that government has been fighting is that of illegal mining. Permanent Secretary in the Mines and Steel Ministry, Linus Awute, says if government provides more funding and solve other logistical challenges, it may be easier to fight this battle.
All that we need is to be aided, to be able to strengthen our regulatory activities, to be able to attract more royalties to government. As it stands now, never in the history of this country have we been able to attract the amount of taxes and royalty that is currently accruing to government.
If Nigeria is to achieve its vision of being among the top 20 economies by the year 2020, trade policies must focus on non-oil exports, and attraction of investments to the mineral sector is key, as Nigeria is blessed with huge mineral resources which investors are willing to harness.
I'll still talking mineral sector. Mining is another major means of diversifying the economy away from crude. Onyeabor-Okolie is here to discuss the challenges and what the federal government should focus in on the solid mineral sector. We have the interview on our talking point segment.
Hello, welcome. It's Talking Point on Global Business, and today we're looking at the solid minerals section. Of course, the solid minerals sector is one of the sectors that the President Goodluck Jonathan administration is thinking of diversifying its economy towards, and talking about the Nigerian economy trying to get more revenue than it is getting right now from the solid minerals sector. And we'll specifically be looking at mining. Now, mining seems to be having a headway in the country, especially with so many investors coming in to say that they are interested in the country's mining. But the country is plagued with challenges. We did a report not too long ago on the challenges or opportunities of the solid mineral sector, especially in the mining sector. Now, to look at some of these challenges, we'll be talking to the president of the Progressive Miners Association, Onyeabor-Okolie. Onyeabor-Okolie is a practitioner, he's a legal miner. He doesn't belong to the illegal miners who, of course, you know, the president has been, and the government has been fighting illegal miners, especially in another part of the country. We're looking at some of the challenges and opportunities in this sector, and what exactly should government be focusing on in the mining sector. Onyeabor-Okolie, you're welcome to Global Business.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's start with this fact. What's your impression generally about the investment potentials or investment drive in the mining sector and the interest so far in the mining sector? I know Canada has indicated interest, Poland has indicated interest. These are countries that are thinking of coming to do something in this country.
Well, thank you very much for having me in your studio. First and foremost, I must say that mining is one of the greatest means of diversifying our economy from oil and gas. Of course, for the oil sector, you have the mining, and also you have the agriculture. But mining specifically, before the discovery of oil, we have always seen the active part that mining has played in our national economy. But unfortunately, by the decree of indigenization of the entire country's economy, we begin to see that the major mechanized miners that came into the country who were foreigners pulled off, and all of these were handed back to the indigenous miners. And from that time, due to lack of capacity, particularly financial capacity, of the then indigenous miners, we now begin to see that mining from that time begin to plummet. And up to this point we are in now, mining is in a sorry state. Currently, by the contribution of mining, it's just 0.3% contribution to the national economy from the Bureau of Statistics. And by this conviction, nobody, is proud of, what money is as at now. It's in a sorry state, and as major stakeholders, we are very, very concerned.
Let's go back to the question. Yeah. What's your impression about the investment potentials?
The investment potential is very huge, both for the indigenous Nigerian investors and the foreign investors. Mining is is one sector that when you put in, you are expecting even up to 100% returns in your investment. The potential is huge, but we need to be able to harness this huge potential, and the government definitely need to come in as a catalyst for this, transformation of this sector and bring it to reality and make it such that it is now irresistible to any investor to come in. But as it is right now, we are still in a chaotic situation, in a situation that, we need a redemption.
Are you happy with investors coming in?
Well, the kind of investors that we are seeing currently, we don't call them investors. As operators, we rather look at these people as invaders and marauders. Because what they basically do is to put some little money in their pockets, drive our colleagues and our people as slaves to go into the earth without equipment to mine these products. And you sell this product to these people without added value. And these people cut away this product out of the country without any corresponding returns. Whether in terms of, inflows of money, foreign currency, or by way of employment generation, or by way of even, technological, advancement of the sector. And this is unacceptable. And the current state where we have, the investors, so-called investors, whom I call invaders, basically they are the Indians and the Chinese. And they constitute the menace we have in the sector. Most of these investors, who you would call foreign investors, Chinese and the Indian make up about 95% of them. The few of them that are coming from Europe are very, very, few and so insignificant. And at the current level, there is no mechanized mining taking place. What these people basically are doing currently is that some of them are just exploring, maybe for gold and for other minerals. But there is no developed mines currently in the country. And this is why we as operators are very, very concerned.
Now, let's look at the government recently presented and launched a roadmap for the sector, which we believe will be able to address some of the challenges. How and we know also that there have been criticisms to that roadmap already. From your standpoint, what is how far can that roadmap go in addressing the issues in the sector?
If the roadmap is thinking patriotically, the roadmap gives you a sense of direction. You know from where you're thinking of from, and you know your destination. That is the function of the roadmap. And ideally, if this is done with a national interest at heart, not for self-serving, not for showmanship, not to just produce a roadmap because other sectors of the economy are producing a roadmap. By the way, I must say categorically with all sense of humility that I originated the roadmap in mining. And of course, it took the presidential intervention and the Ministry for Mines and Steel to be able to sit down together with myself and my association colleagues to now be able to now push this through to the Federal Executive Council for approval. So the roadmap is so essential. There's not to worry about it because the roadmap tells you what you need to do at any point in time and what the result should be. Definitely it's fantastic to have a roadmap in mining. But as it is right now, how many people know about the roadmap? How much of exposure has been made? How much of the forum has been organized to be able to showcase the roadmap? How many people are even aware? Have this been brought to the forum of the stakeholders for deliberations and for advocacy and for for education of the stakeholders so that they are aware of what the roadmap entails? It's one thing to drive a theory. It's another thing to be practical about it. And that's why I've always said that the missing link in mining development has been the political will and the patriotism to truly harness the huge potential we have in the sector. Everybody talk about the huge potential, but we must have the patriotism, the sincerity, and the commitment to be able to harness the huge potential. And until that time, we'll still be in this quagmire that we find ourselves in the mining sector.
Are we saying, or are you saying, that this government has no political will to transform the mining sector?
You know, for me, I have been a very great apostle of President Jonathan GCFR. I've always, in my little way, demonstrated to him that we believe in his ability to deliver, particularly in his economic transformation agenda. And this is why that's from the very point he was sworn in, I have made position paper and presentations to him and to this particular government in particular. We have given them huge support. And we keep urging them, we keep pleading with them that, look, if you must realize the economic benefit from mining, there is the need to bring patriots who have been major stakeholders for I've had over 2 decades in mining experiences. Bring us on board and let's create a platform and let us harness this sector and be able to generate employment for our teeming youths and contribute a little quota to the economy.
Or is this an opportunity for you to self-seek yourself into position of authority that you could do something for the mining sector?
Well, this I would have done if I was not a patriot. I mean, of course, there have been several cases where, my principle would have been compromised, but I've resolved never to compromise my conscience and my principle. I believe in equity. I believe in commitment. I believe in true transformation and true nationality. I do not, like people say, use any opportunity you have, grab everything to yourself. I mean, that is why we keep going backward and we are never making progress. We must leave ourselves behind and put our nation before us, because without a nation, there will not be any office to occupy.
Now, I remember that the Progressive Miners Association, not too long ago, criticized the composure of the board of the Solid Minerals Development Fund.
Yes.
What is actually the criticism of this board?
Thank you very much. The Solid Mineral Development Fund is a key factor in mining. If mining must be transformed, it's a key factor. In fact, for us, we call it a catalyst of mining renaissance. Now, we work assiduously to have the Solid Mineral Development Fund incited in Mineral and Mining Act 2007, which was signed into law and now an act of the legislation. Now, the Solid Mineral Development Fund is so critical, and we cannot sit back as patriots, as Nigerians who are major stakeholders, and allow these sensitive parts of mining development to be in the hands of people who are well known to have mismanaged funding intervention to this sector in the past. And that is why we are so vehement about it and so clear about it. It is not anything personal, it is something that is patriotic. And we have appealed to Mr. President that the current constitution of the Solid Mineral Development Fund is going to take us backward if it is not cancelled and reconstituted with men of proven integrity, with men of patriotism, with men of commitment to be on that board. As it is currently, I can tell you by prophetic declaration that give it some 2 or 3 years, the government will come and say we are reviewing it and cancelling the entire system. And we do not want that to happen, because the Solid Mineral Development Fund is so critical to mining. Currently, we cannot access funds from commercial banks because of prohibitive interest rates. And besides the rigorous documentations you have to go through before you can get funding from them. So this is the one of the means of funding for solid minerals and operators within the solid mineral sector. And that is why we are very clear and vehement that as it stands, the Constitution will take us backward. It's going to blackmail the entire operator in the sector if it is not reconstituted.
I would have loved you to be specific
Yes.
on your this because you have just generalized the fact that the constitution of the
Yes,
board,
absolutely.
and there are many people on the board who are not, without being slanderous.
Yes.
Who, and what evidence do you have to say these people mismanage funds in the board?
For example, when the country obtained a 120 million intervention fund from the World Bank, $1 million intervention fund for the mining, as at the time the agreement was signed and the terms were very specific, the conditions and everything agreed upon, the document signed and delivered. We were told at that time, in 2004, when that fund was obtained, that at the end of the tenure of that World Bank intervention in the sector, Nigeria would have been able to attract foreign investors into the country. There would have been large mechanized mining, illegal mining would have been curbed, the artisanal miners would have been properly put in place, and the activities in the sector would have been great, and the contribution to the economy at the end of the tenure would have been 10% 10% contribution to the GDP. At the end of, before that time, the contribution of money to the GDP was 3%, about 3%. And today, at the end of it, in 2012, it's down to 0.3%. It is, I mean, it just.
So how does that
logical.
concern those who are in the solid?
Of course, you cannot expect such people.
Oh, they were the ones
managing
managed
yes,
the funds.
and then to come back again, and they, I mean, it's like a slap on the face of our national integrity.
What can Nigeria do about illegal mining?
It is as simple as ABC. These are Nigerians. These are people who are poverty-stricken. These are people in the rural area who are basically scratching the earth in order to beat poverty and be able to have meal on their table. You cannot criminalize them because they are Nigerians and because they are involved in a thing to beat hunger and stay alive. So what are we to do? It is, like I said, simple as ABC. We have appealed, haven't watched the agency of government saddle with the regulation and the development of the sector without much being realized. We have appealed to this current regime of President Jonathan Goodluck that a standing presidential committee should be urgently constituted to harness these huge potentials, both the human potential and the natural potentials of the mining sector. Get all of these people in the rural areas who are involved in all of this unethical mining and unprofessional mining. Pull them together, equip them. What they need is just basic mining implements. This is what the Ghanaians, our close neighbor here, did. Give them the situation where we exposed our nationals to risk of lead poisoning, of mercury poisoning, of radioactive poisoning, like it happened in Zamfara State. It's unacceptable. These people should be assisted with basic money equipment, which does not cost more than 5 million, 10 million. Equip them, and they will produce, and they will generate employment, and they will generate wealth, and you will, get royalty and rent from these people, and be able to contribute substantially to the economy of this country. And this is the best way to go. You need a standing presidential committee to be constituted urgently to be able to address all of these issues and be able to also generate income for the country.
When you say a standing presidential committee, one is tempted to ask, we have a minister for mines and steel.
Yeah.
What do you need a presidential committee? Because Nigeria has been known to constitute committees that do not work, actually.
Thank you so very much. And that's why I said a standing presidential committee with patriotic drive
Where does the work of the minister start and end?
Thank you very much. I'm going to clarify that point. Now, this has been the issue because most people attack us and say, well, we want to take job from the ministry. Far from it. The ministry, by regulation, are supposed to be a regulator. They are supposed to ensure ethical mining, procedures. They are supposed to formulate policies. They are supposed to see to safety of those involved in mining sector. That is their job. The private sector on the other side, these stakeholders who are the operators in the mine field, are supposed to implement these policies of government. They are the actual driver of the economy. They are the ones that are supposed to go do the mining, do the beneficiation, use this product for local usages and for export. I mean, it is so clear there is no friction at all. It is just lack of understanding that have created all of this. It's a simple thing. There must be synergy, and that is why the economic policy.
Is this how it works in other places?
That's how it
places
works.
where mining has succeeded.
Absolutely, that is how it works.
Okay, does the mining sector, beyond the development fund, is supposed to be like a bailout for the mining sector?
Yeah.
How much is in that fund worth right now?
Currently, I do not know. Possibly, the president, out of instinct or hindsight, has realized that possibly he has been misadvised in constituting the Solid Mineral Development Fund as it is currently. And that is why he head back. There is no fund made for them currently.
Okay.
What they are trying to do, which from logic is so obvious, that they are eyeing the money of the Natural Resource Fund. Because there's the fund, the Natural Resource Fund, that should be used for money development.
How much is
that? By the investigations of the National Assembly, they found it to be about 873 billion. And we are saying as operators that this fund, it is better for this fund to be in a safe treasury than for this fund to be released and mismanaged. By the time the president is comfortable that, yes, I have a standing petroleum committee in place, I have reconstituted the Solid Mineral Development Fund, then these funds should be injected. And let me tell you one thing. Funding for mining should never be the business of government. That's why we are saying, give us the platform of the Standing Petroleum Committee. We will governance fund from both within local investors and international investors. The fund will come. We will generate fund and we will create wealth. We have been saying for the past 2 years that 2 million jobs will be created within 2 years from mining. Give us the platform and give us the test. If we do not deliver in 6 months, disband such Standing Petroleum Committee.
Just one last question. Can the Solid Minerals Development Fund stand as a presidential committee, or they have to be two separate?
No, you have to be two separate because because that is by an act of the law of the Money Act.
In other words, too, the solid minerals sector, mining sector, deserves a bailout.
Definitely.
Thank you very much, Onyeabor-Okolie, for coming on the program. We've been talking to Onyeabor-Okolie. He is the president of the Progressive Miners Association. It's an ongoing issue, I can tell you, because we definitely have not finished this issue of mining. Just like we faced agriculture at one point in time to make sure that agriculture should be the next most powerful revenue earner for Nigeria, we'll be facing mining. And of course, we're starting from the stakeholders themselves. We'll talk to government and hear their own side of the story. Global Business continues.
Well, you've heard it all from the stakeholders. And that's how we wrap it up on Global Business. Thanks for being part of it, and see you again next week, same time. Do enjoy the rest of your day.